Everybody, and welcome to You Can't Spell Summer Without STEM. Well, you can, but why would you want to? My name is Lori Blanchard, and I'm a teacher at Cosby Elementary in the Cocke County School District. And today we're going to be looking at some summer outdoor camping themed STEM activities that you can do at home with your own kids, or you can pass them on to your colleagues and you can use them at school. But this is our agenda for the day. We're going to be looking at bioluminescence. We're going to make a pool noodle periscope. We're going to make and use a homemade pH indicator. We're going to build a waterproof shelter. We're going to have a penny boat race. We're going to make a solar oven. We're going to look at some constellations. We're going to measure a tree and see how tall it is without actually climbing it. And we're going to make ice cream in a bag. So we'll get started with the firefly-inspired bioluminescence. But we are going to have to cheat just a little bit, and this one's going to be bioluminescence in your kitchen. This is actually the steps and the materials for making glow-in-the-dark Jell-O. And this entire presentation is available to you in the Google Drive under presentation or presenter content. So I'm not going to read all the materials to you. I'm not going to read all the steps to you. But why this works is you're going to be using tonic water instead of regular tap water. And tonic water contains quinine, which will glow under a black light. So this is bioluminescence. There is a video, and there are videos for most of these activities, and they are through YouTube. But I'll be honest, this is like the 5th or 6th time I've tried to make this presentation, and every time I do and I play the video links, the sound starts out and then it fades and it stops completely, and you're just watching me comment on YouTube videos. So I'm going to forego playing the video. You'll have to do that on your own. But that one is definitely worth it. But this is bioluminescence, and you're making glow-in-the-dark Jell-O. The next activity will be making a pool noodle periscope. And this video also, it just fades out and quits. And it's really neat because it's 2 kids actually doing this. They're making their own. One word of advice I do have for this one. The tape that you use, be sure it's something you can live with, because it will show in your finished product. So make it pretty, make it cute. And you will need 2 2-inch round mirrors. And here are the steps. And here's the video link that will not play sound. But I will tell you, you can adapt this for younger children. Instead of using 2 2-inch mirrors that will break if it's mishandled, then you can take 2 pieces of circular cardboard and cover them in tinfoil instead. For little kids, it'll work just fine. For older students, you can have them design and construct a periscope that looks behind them. So there's a little bit of a step down for younger children and a little bit of a step up for the older children. Making a homemade pH indicator, this one amazed me. I did not know you could do this, but you use red cabbage. And this one, the video helps a lot. I really like this video. They make pickles in the second half of it. You don't have to watch that part, but it is pretty interesting. But you can make a pH indicator with red cabbage. Here are the materials. Again, I'm not going to read all those to you. The steps. And again, this is all available in the Google Drive. Why it works. I tried to include a why it works with all of these. And then you're going to use that pH indicator with lemon juice versus lemonade. Again, there's your steps, there's your materials. The why it works, you're going to make a major shift in the pH of a solution. A chemical change is going to have to happen. Building a waterproof shelter. This one, the kids really like this one because there's no right or wrong answer to it. These are the materials that I provide them. I put them in a plastic bag. But I tell them they can't use the plastic bag and they can't use that plastic cup. The plastic cup is in there just for them to get water to pour over their final product. The idea is to keep that tissue from getting wet. So you're building a waterproof shelter with these materials, with as few or as many of these materials as they want to use. They don't have to use them all. And then at the end, I always have them compare and look around at their friends' designs, because I want them to see what they could have done differently, or what, their friend might have done something that used a material that they didn't use or used it in a different way. So it's always fun to compare and look at other people's ideas and other people's designs. The penny boat race is probably my favorite activity. You're going to get a piece of tinfoil and design a boat that will float and supposedly hold 100 pennies. Here are the materials. And this is my bulleted list of steps. I'm a bullet lister, and when I do that, I don't write out things in detail. This is what I use for myself when I'm doing this in the classroom. The scrap piece of paper is just for practice. That's so they can just do some hands-on experimenting with what they think might work. And once they're satisfied that they've got their prototype down, that's when they get to get the tinfoil and make their final draft, and they have to name it. They also have to write down a prediction of how many pennies they think their boat will hold. And we make a data chart of every group's predictions. Then we take turns floating our boats and recording how many pennies it actually held, and we record that information in our data chart. And then we take the data chart and make a double bar graph, predictions, actual amounts for every boat. I always give them this set of questions when we're finished with the double bar graph. And I have a classroom ready version that you can just print and just hand to your kids. Making a solar oven. This one is definitely easier when you have the video to watch. And I do realize that I misspelled the word works and I misspelled the word cardboard, which if that's the worst thing that happens today, we've had a good day. There's your materials. Continued. Definitely an adult because you are going to be cutting. Thank you. Par for the course. Video link definitely worth watching for this one. Because I had to watch it the first few times I did this myself. Constellations, one of my favorites. You get a bag of beads and pipe cleaners, and these Constellation task cards are printable. I cannot give you a copy of them because they're copyrighted, but this is the link that you go to, and you just sign up. You give them your email, and then they email you the task cards. It's really super simple. And there's a video that goes with it, but I'm not even going to try to play the video. But you would have the kids make the constellations with their pipe cleaners and beads, and then trade pipe cleaner constellations and see if your friend can guess which one it is. You can actually go out in the night sky and see if your constellation is up there, see if there's any that you don't have on your task cards, make a new one that's not in the set of cards that you have. And again, there's the video link. And just stargazing is one of my favorite activities. How tall is a tree? This one really interested me. It's just neat. If you bend over and walk away from a tree until you can see the top of it, when you turn around, you have walked how tall the tree is. So let me say that one more time. You bend over and walk away from a tree until you can see the top. You are as far away from the tree as it is tall. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And the last one, ice cream in a bag. This one is pretty simple. There's your materials. And here are your steps. My one piece of advice is please wear gloves, or at the very least, wad up a whole bunch of paper towels, because that bag will get cold. And by the time it's edible, by the time it's actually ice cream and not milk water, you're going to wish you had something between your hands and that bag because it gets super cold. Again, my name is Lori Blanchard, and this is my contact information if you need anything. And I hope you have a very STEM-filled summer.